All right, we're going to take a look at this table here to determine whether or not the table is proportional. So if you guys remember, there's two things that make any situation proportional. It has to have a constant slope and it has to go through the origin. So when you guys look at these check boxes, you're going to select all that apply. So I've already given you a heads up. There are going to be 3 correct statements. We're going to look at the slope. Then we're going to take a look at the origin, and based off of what we get there, we will determine whether or not the table is proportional. So I'm going to go ahead and start with slope. I think it's a little bit easier. If it has a constant slope, that means every single slope fraction, every change in y over change in x that I set up has to match. So 4 to 6 is a +2, and then +4. And then this one's -14. That's a little bit weird, but nothing alarming until we do the bottom and we see what our fractions give us. So at the bottom, I'm going to subtract 3 and then subtract 6. And then I'm going to add 21. All right, I'm definitely going to need to type these in. So every time we work with tables, it's change in y over change in x. Well, my first change in y was -3, and -3 divided by +2 gives me a -1.5. And I'm going to check that for each one. -6 over 4 gives me the same thing, and -14. Oh, backwards. Here's my undo. Got to put my y on top. +21 divided by -14. And that gives me the same thing. So I know that this one does have a constant slope, and the constant slope is 1.5. So let me clean out some of this work right here. So that means my first checkbox has to be right here. This is false. Now, here's the trick. This is the hard part now. I've confirmed that it has a constant slope. It's looking good, but we have to determine if it goes through the origin. If it goes through the origin and has that constant slope, it's proportional. If it's missing one of them, it's a no good. So to do this part, because if I want the y-intercept, I need to see where x is 0, but that's not anywhere in my table. So here's the strategy. I'm going to use our equation y equals mx+b, and I'm going to substitute. So I already know my m is -1.5. And if you wanted to use -3/2, that's fine too. We'll all get to the same place. And then to finish this up, we're going to substitute for x and for y. And we're going to substitute one of these coordinates. You can pick whichever coordinate you want. I'm going to go ahead and use this one though. The 4 is the x value, and the y is -1. And then I'm going to try to get b by itself. So 4 times a -1.5 gives me -6. So now I have -1 is equal to -6 plus b. So to finish this problem up, you're just going to get b by itself. And then you'll know whether or not it goes through the origin, which allows you to make that decision on whether or not the table is proportional.